These fragments, recovered from Fustat in Egypt, date back to the 14th century and are among the oldest physical remnants of textiles that have been attributed to India. The motifs and patterns we see on these fabrics reflect the age-old block printing and dyeing traditions practiced in the subcontinent. Most ancient fabrics in India have decayed with time due to the country's harsh climate. Fragments like these that have survived in other parts of the world fill important gaps in our knowledge, shedding further light on the subcontinent's historic trade and the longevity of its textile traditions. Through the course of time, India's painted and printed textiles have permeated cultures globally, from remote islands in Southeast Asia to European homes. Featuring vivid imagery, these have documented historical interactions and cross-cultural exchange, spread designs to the world, and reflected the expertise of the region's artisans. Traditionally, painted textiles made using the kalamkari technique served religious functions and featured imagery inspired by epics such as Ramayana and Mahabharata. Around the 17th century, the same artisans who made these also began to create pieces that explicitly portrayed the various cultural interactions of the time. We can see this illustrated in this elaborate wall hanging that features a cast of characters, each dressed in costumes that reflect diverse regional backgrounds. If you look closely, the women in the lower panel appear to be dressed in saris, whereas the male figures to their left are portrayed in European clothing. A few other surviving pieces also feature such interactions between people of different cultures, as we can see here. These depictions enable the textiles to function as historical documents of exchange. Over the centuries, Indian trade textiles have been instrumental in disseminating visual culture to foreign shores through the designs and motifs they featured. We see this, for instance, in the context of fabrics exported to the Toraja community in the remote Sulawesi Islands in eastern Indonesia. Some of these took on ceremonial functions and came to be known as ma cloths in these islands. They often shared visual similarities with religious or mythological imagery popular in India. As we can see here, the procession of celestial female dancers resembles the sensual figures depicted on the margins of Jain manuscripts made in Gujarat. One can only wonder if these textiles also carried along the stories and symbolism associated with their imagery as they traveled the world. Pashmina shawls, brocades, carpets, and other fabrics exported from India also played a significant role in popularizing motifs. Many of these designs have become commonplace, inspiring regional variations globally to this day. The historic interactions that took designs from the subcontinent to the world also brought inspiration from other cultures. Indian textiles were greatly influenced by imagery from neighboring Central, Western, and East Asian regions. These contributed towards the ever-expanding lexicon of block-printed and painted designs. Through these exchanges, artisans in the country also became attuned to the distinct tastes of individuals and communities in various parts of the world. They used this knowledge to develop customized designs for markets, ranging all the way from Armenia to Thailand to Western Europe. This resulted in a diverse range of textiles that displayed unique characteristics and even acquired local names in the regions they were exported to. Let's look at a few examples. Some of the textiles made for the Javanese and Sumatran Islands in western Indonesia were painted in rich shades of red, featuring solid diamond or circular shapes surrounded by dense patterning. They were typically used as ceremonial hip wrappers by members of the royal court. In Japan, painted and printed fabrics from India were widely known as sarasa. These were often stitched into pouches for utensils used in traditional tea ceremonies. They often featured discs and rosettes inspired by Japanese Buddhist iconography, such as the lotus or the wheel. Textiles made for the Thai market were mostly used by nobles and royals. They typically featured figural depictions of Hindu deities and other divine beings set within a trellis or a grid. If you look closely at this hanging, for instance, the repeating figure of the Hindu god Brahma is framed by celestial nymphs and rosettes. Textiles made prominently for the English, Dutch, and French markets featured sprawling floral designs painted on white backgrounds. These stylized patterns were rendered with delicate white outlines and rich details in many colors. Some of them interpreted European botanical illustrations, floral embroidery, and patterned silks, while others reflected the artisan's own imaginations. These were widely used in interior decoration, most commonly in the form of palimpores, bedspreads that were often hung as wall decor. In this Dutch dollhouse from the 17th century, the room, completely covered in red patterned fabric, gives us a sense of how these textiles were used in wealthy homes. They were also popularly stitched into European or Anglo-American attire, such as coats, gowns, and petticoats, which were worn by people of all classes. It's fascinating to see how the same materials, techniques, and colors were used to produce fabrics that were so different from each other and from the ones made for domestic markets. The diversity we see through the small selection of trade textiles illustrates the creative range of India's artisans. Shaped by cultural exchange across time, India's textiles are embedded in a global history. A majority of these can be found in museums and private collections around the world, where they continue to reveal new connections and insights about the past. Their enduring presence outside the country's borders pushes us to reimagine the meaning of geographic and cultural boundaries, expanding the definition of Indian textiles.